Today we got another project on the Suburban. So I was running down the road on the way back from work and it just suddenly started chugging and shut off. I did get it running and got it home, but when I started looking at it, this has the throttle body injection on it, on this V8. That injector on that side was not putting out any fuel at all. So I didn't get a video of it. I probably should have. But what I did to check the injector itself, I took these wires off of here and switched them. So what happened then is the injector on the left continued to work. The injector on the right still wasn't doing anything. So I'm like, well, the wiring is working. It's sending signal to the injectors to work. So I ended up replacing this injector on the right side with a new one. Unfortunately, I didn't video that, but I fired it up. Both injectors were spraying nice. Within a few seconds, the thing was running absolutely horrible again and quit running at idle. So I did a little research online, and one of the other issues that with these is down inside the distributor cap, there is a pickup. What that is an inductive pickup that tells the injection system, or the computer in here, the ECM, when to fire those injectors. And they said that if that pickup down inside there goes bad, it won't fire the injectors properly and you won't be able to get it to run right. So we've got it in the shop here today. I did a little research on what it's going to take to get the get that pickup out of here. And what you have to do is you have to pull the entire distributor out, take everything apart on it, take the gear off the bottom of it, pull the entire shaft out of the center of it, and then replace your replace the pickup that's inside there. I've also heard that the modules on these go bad over time as well. The distributor cap and rotor that are on this are not in great shape. I'll show those to you in a minute. So I just made the decision here to buy a brand new distributor. So I was trying to price different things, looking at different stuff, but this is a brand new, not rebuilt distributor. It comes with the cap, the rotor, the module down at the bottom, and the inductive pickup. This is the entire thing, the whole way down to the gear at the bottom of it. So I figured by the time we're replacing all those different things with it, it's going to be cheaper just to buy an entire distributor. While I'm at it, I'm going to do spark plugs and wires. I couldn't get the wires today, but we'll do that on a different video probably. But I'm going to try to get this thing in here, so we're going to pull the old one out and take a look at it. So what I just did here is I labeled all the spark plug wires, 184366572 around there, and also marked number 1 on my cap. So when I take these off, it makes it real easy to put them back on, and I don't have to sort everything. It's going to make it a lot quicker when I go to put this back together. And then what we'll need to do is we'll need to get a wrench down there and just take those bolts out on either side of that distributor cap. Cap off of here. It's just 2 bolts, 1 on either side. You don't need to take them completely out. They just need to come out far enough to get the cap off of it. Alrighty. So there's our distributor cap. Looking at the inside of it, oh my gosh. I'm going to zoom in on that so you guys can see how bad it is. I don't know when the last time this was replaced, or if it was. See if I can get it up here to zoom in. Look at the contacts down here. See if I can get some light on it. The contacts actually have a chunk on the side of them. Look at that. See See if I can get it to focus on it. That corrosion that's in there. There we go, maybe. You can see the corrosion that's on every one of those terminals. Yeah, it definitely could use replaced. We're going to go ahead and take the bolt out for the distributor. Okay, so when we're looking at the distributor right here, the cap is off of it. There's actually a bolt that holds it down. That bolt is right there. It's a little bit hard to see from where I'm at here. I'm going to go up above it and see if you can see it a little better. But that bolt's almost straight down underneath the front edge of it. It's right in this area right here, down at the very bottom of your screen. So you either need to have a socket that has a swivel on it or a distributor wrench to get to that one. I happen to have both, so we're gonna see. So this is what the distributor wrench looks like. It's got a bend in it like that so you can get in and down below. So once you get that bolt loose, there are two plugs on the back side down behind there, and you got to pry up on the little tab and pop that plug. You also want to mark where your rotor is sitting, which direction it's sitting, and also, I already told you, mark the base of this to make sure you can get those back into the same spot. Because if you don't have that rotor in the right spot, it's never going to fire when it needs to for the spark plugs. So that's really, really important to mark those and make sure you know exactly where they are. So I just got the old distributor out and lined it up next to the new distributor. I wanted to make sure all the plugs are the same on it, make sure the rotor looks the same on it. I want to make sure the length on it from the flange here down to the end is the same on it. Make sure the gear looks the same. They did send us an extra gasket to go underneath that flange, but the designs look a little bit different, but everything looks good on that one. You can see how this is actually cracked around this ring at the bottom of it. Underneath that ring right there is our pickup. It's inside of here. That's why you have to take this one all apart to get to it. So I'm not messing with this one. We're putting the new one in. Everything there looks good. So we're about ready to drop this back in. We'll show you the procedure. So dropping a distributor into a GM V8 is not the easiest thing in the world to do, because the bottom of this, you see a little notch right there. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but this lines up with the top of the shaft for your oil pump that's down in the oil pan. This gear engages into the cam, into the back of the cam. So as it drops down, this thing is going to twist. So what you have to do is you have to get that dropped into place and align your rotor to where when it drops down into place, that rotor is going to drop in and fall to the position that you want. So as it drops in, it's going to turn. So right there, I got it to drop right down the first time. You want to make sure to, oh, maybe not. There's where we need it, right there. But I've done this so many times on so many of the other vehicles that I've had when I've switched distributors that I've gotten pretty good at it. This is a little bit of a challenge, because when you go to drop it in, that needs to drop the whole way down in. So see how it's not going completely down there? I don't know if you can see it in the video. There it's dropping all the way down flush, but this is not lined up in that 3 o'clock position where we had it. So, and it's all based on the oil pump shaft that's down below. So what I'm doing is I'm walking this in tooth by tooth until it drops down. And what it's doing is it's turning that oil pump shaft that's down underneath there around in a circle. So I'm going to go back this direction, see if I can get it to drop in close. There we go, it dropped in. I need to go one more tooth. There we go. So we want that back to the same position that it was. I've got to line this back up to the exact position that it was when we took it out of there.
So what I'm going to do first here, I'm going to plug in my plugs on this, and then make sure that those clip in. And then we've got to get our distributor hold down plate that we loosened down there with that special tool. We've got to get it back in place on top of that flange of the distributor so it holds it down. And then we'll tighten that back up. So I loosened it with that special tool to start with. Now I'm going to be using the swivel head. I think this is going to be easier to tighten it back down. So I'm going to go ahead and get that snug down into place. I'm not going to tighten it fully. I'm just going to snug it down. Because we want the base to move a little bit, because we need to make sure that that timing is set back exactly where it was to begin with. And we may have to play with it just a little bit to get the timing perfect. So I'm going to get the camera exactly where I had it before. I'm going to try to. So you can see that that rotor is back in the same spot at that same angle. We got to get our base plate aligned up now. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put our distributor cap back on. It goes back on that way. We're going to use our wrench to tighten those down, and then we'll get our spark plugs put back on here. On the other cap, I labeled number 1. Obviously the new cap doesn't have it labeled, but it's easy to tell which one is number 1. If we hold these right up next to each other, we can figure out, okay, real easy to see here, number 1 is going to be this one. So what I'll do is I'll take my paint marker and mark that as number 1. That way it's easier to see once we get it in there. There we go. That'll make it much, much easier when I get in there and go to put those back on there. So at this point, we can start putting our spark plug wires back on. Luckily, I've got these labeled real nice, starting with number 1 right there. And number 1 actually had a zip tie on it. And if you didn't remember the order, hopefully you took a picture of it or wrote it down. These distributors, if you get used to doing the GM stuff, you end up remembering the order. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. I just remember it from memory, but if you don't remember it, it's available out on the internet, or you can go back and listen to my video again. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. And that is counting from the number 1 where you started, going clockwise around there.